Hello and welcome to this week's Punter Show. Mark Lamborn, Glenn Pollitt. Hello.
Hello, Dallas Baker. Well,
Dallas did it.
hello, Glenn.
G'day, mate. G'day, Dal. What's that little thing on the right there, Dal?
What's the little thing on the right on the camera?
Yeah, we're running about.
Flicking.
Oh, that does that. I don't know.
Anyway, it was Battler's Day on Saturday, wasn't it?
It was Battler's Day.
Oh, I saw the battler on Saturday. He was out there with Paula and his newborn child, or not so newborn child.
Oh, God, he'd be really battling.
Oh, why didn't you come and say hello?
He sort of did. I think he was in the process of, and the said child decided to get the shit. So I think he turned around and.
Did the battler bet the kid on it?
I think the battler's no. I think he I didn't know, but he owned that pop, or he's in the ownership of Poppers in the Champagne Stills in the Champagne Stills. Anyway,
Champagne.
there's the battler. There you go. We just had a little personal chat here while we're doing the Punter
A
Show.
little personal checks. There was something that you did come up and Saturday. I saw the stewards report. Greg Rudolph asked Mr. Mitchell Bell about what was said after the line with him and. You read about it, Huey? They had a.
Oh, did they? Yeah, no.
Oh,
You're bringing the news. You're a news hound.
Oh, Artley and
Huey held Artley in a position.
Yeah.
Looked to be basically.
It was a standover thing. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Kind of legit. Nothing wrong with what Huey did. He's trying to win the race, but you know, when a horse.
Was he trying to win the race? Actually, he probably took a fair bit out of his horse. It's been beaten half a length.
I don't think they did it themselves any favour, did they?
Anyway, blah 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 blah. You'll see in the stewards report. Artley gets smashed up. And Artley was trucking. Usually the jockeys let the other jockeys out in that situation. Group 1 racing was a bit different, or whatever race it was.
Yeah. The time-honoured Hallmark Stakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big Group 1 race to Mitchell Bell. Does a fantastic job out wide on bloody Saturdays with
Sure does.
Hieronymus and that. They're the two guns on Saturdays at Campbell Newcastle.
Yeah, with Jeff just, like chipping in there.
Yeah, Jeff Penza. Yeah, chipping away. Rudy got into Murray, give it to both of them, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and then after the race, Bell and Bowman have had words, and Mr. Rudolph wanted to know what was said, and Mitchell Bell said, "I have no comment." He now receives anti-cock verum for the rest of his life. Will never be nominated as the cock of the week.
Yeah.
He's the new champion of the Punter Show. Just I don't really want to comment about what was said, as if to tell Rudy to mind his business. Mitchell Bell, you are an Australian man.
So what happened from there? Did he cop a fine for that, or for?
No, I'm not talking about it. It's fucking
I'm not giving anyone.
I'm minding my business.
Oh.
And then Huey said something like, "Oh, we had some words about the ride," or blah blah blah. But Mitchell Bell, stone solid, a good man under pressure, can be trusted in my bank heist.
Actually, there was a tweet that came up saying about words that are said that might not have been said. There was this bloke in New Zealand that I think a judge had just announced that he was going to be standing down or whatever.
Yep.
And this bloke was going up for unpaid fines, and on Facebook he said, "Oh, good luck, the bloke's a cunt, and he's this and he's that." 3 days later he's up in front of the same judge who didn't notice the Facebook post.
That can happen.
Right, that's a bit awkward.
So anyway, well done, Mitchell Bell, keeping your mouth shut. I'm always impressed by men like that. So you now have anti-cock verum. You will never be in the Cock of the Week nominated for life.
Any other general news, boys? Glenn, anything generally on the mind?
The betting room was, easy to work in. Third day of the carnival, just a little bit down.
A lockdown, wasn't it?
Very comfortable about everything.
Very comfortable, yeah.
Yeah, for us to come on and say it was a pleasant day and easy to work, it's probably not a great result for the club, is it?
I had a funny experience. I parked the car in the bus zone prior to where I was.
Yeah.
See old mate Copper coming up this way. He had all the badges. I could tell he was the superior sergeant and all that. So he was about 200 yards away. So I parked there because I told you about this spot. Like, what are the odds of this? Oh, anyway, I'll finish the story. I go, "Oh mate, are you in charge of parking?" Do you know what he said to me? "Are you Glenn Pollitt?"
Oh, did he?
I went, "Yeah." He said, "You're the one with the grey 4 that we keep finding, you keep writing letters getting off." And I said, "Yeah, that's me." He had my address, he had my phone number. He said, "I've come down to see where this car is, to look at this sign, but I'm telling you," and he had my phone number, but it was a phone number 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So he said, "I've been trying to ring you to battle us out." He said, "I'm sick of you writing them writing to me, blah, blah, blah." He said, "You finished your last letter, cheers, great place to park." He said, "Who writes that?" I said, "I do." He said, "Well, look, you'll have to move your car, it's a bus zone." I said, "Mate, I'm walking to the track. Here's my new phone number, old mate. You go have a look and ring me." I get in the track, he rings me, he goes, "Can't believe how right you are. Fucking hell, I get this sign changed." I said, "Cheers, mate, great place to park." It's pretty funny. it's pretty funny when you say to a cop, "Are you the parking bloke? Are you Glenn Pollock?"
It's become a serial, hasn't it? You know,
Oh, it is. The only thing is, that's probably your last go at Randwick. By the time we get back to
Well,
Randwick,
he said, well, he's on the phone after this.
So will that be sweet next Monday on the public holiday or not?
No, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Randwick race days only. You can't park there Monday to Friday.
Right, so the next Randwick Saturday race meeting would be...
oh, hang on, but it doesn't Monday to Friday if it's a public holiday. The public holiday supersedes it.
No, it doesn't say public holidays.
This would be their chance to get me.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, I got you.
I won't be parking there that day. But it's been a great event. Booked 4 or 5 times. Get off all the time. I write to them. The head sergeant knows who you are. He had a whole notebook, my name, address, this, phone number. He's at current.
Who's stalking you?
He's fucking walking down the road and I thought, oh wait, beautiful.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing ever. So that was a bit of fun before the road lesson. And to be all honest, when he ran me back, he was a real sport about it. And I don't want to say he's a copper, he's a good bloke, but he was okay.
He saw the humour.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It is funny. Monday.
Yeah, and that's actually a good interaction. That's indicative of what the way you think that
that's the way I think
the society could work.
Society could work like that, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said to him, it's just missing and he goes, what do you mean it's missing and? I said, well, it says Monday to Friday, Randwick race days only. I said, if it said and Randwick race days only, you'd be sweet. Yeah. You're going to put a little and in there. I can only follow English.
Well, you're even telling them how to fix it.
I'm just actually getting a bit sick of writing. You get a bit sick of writing.
Yeah.
But now it's quite comical. Hello, mate, it's me. And then I go, please refer to fine L3623, L14, L. You've let me off all these other ones, so I won't be going to court.
No.
Beautiful.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, lovely. We do live in a world.
That's one of the good stories out of the Autumn Carnival.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best one, isn't it? Yeah.
It was fucking funny. It was so funny. Are you Glenn Pollock? Oh, because I thought he wanted to punish no.
Of course, well, everybody does.
I'm thinking, he's a fan. I'm like this, shoulders back. Yeah, that's me, mate. I've been trying to get in touch with you. You keep parking up here. Good bloke. He was a good bloke. Anyway, but still, Mitchell Bell's the champion.
There you go.
And talking about my homosexual side, you know what I dreamt all night?
What?
Well, I haven't got one. I'd had the funniest dream because I have no luck with this Brenton Abdullah, like no luck.
Yeah.
When I don't back him or when I back, yes, I back Music Magnite, that was great, but Noidard at the 60s on the fair was better. So he's just, I dreamt all night last night. I was up at the corner at Randwick,
Near his.
looking through the pale fences, watching a rugby union game. It was a flat grass there, and I'm watching like the most vivid dream. And bloody filthy Abdullah's playing fullback in a rugby union game, and the bombs are going. He keeps driving, going. I'm in the dream, going, "Fuck you, Abdullah! You're fucking useless. Get my boots. I'll run out and take your position." It's all this stress of not.
I'm not connecting with him.
Not connecting with him.
But how's that a homosexual dream?
My dreams about blokes. I'm dreaming about
Yeah,
Abdullah.
but you're not having a dream about bagging the bloke.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
That's Glenn's version of a homoerotic
If you get a dream of a person, you're probably about a 50% chance of dreaming male or female because it's a pretty 50-50
I never
split
dream about
poly.
blokes. I dream about horses and betting. That's all I do now. Filthy Abdullah, he's there with the boots, he's running around, he's putting the bombs up, he was legless at fullback, mind you, every bloke was 3 foot higher than him, and I'm blowing up going, get this bloke off the field! Had to beat it. Alright, is that the end of the punishment?
Yes, it is. All right, to Randwick.
No Waller.
No Waller.
No Rick.
Is it?
No shin.
I mean, I think you alluded to it the other day that Waller didn't have a good day, but apart from winning the $4 billion Doncaster or whatever, but.
Yeah.
I would imagine that Chris's stats on a profit on turnover probably haven't been that great in the last one. Is that a fair call?
No, but I mean that can happen, obviously.
Yeah.
And you remember that period after the premiership, that time where you said, "Well, don't back Waller for the foreseeable future," and it was like 3 weeks, and it was.
Yeah, but that was all. They were horses not getting to the bend.
Yeah, I know, but yes, okay.
But
so
it's like
for
that.
a different reason, but
Yeah.
They're talking about 4 different reasons. We've had Gary Moore hasn't trained a place getter in 3 years and trained 3 winners in 1 day. What's that? How does that all work?
Well, I'll tell you how it works.
Oh yeah, I'd like to know.
4 days earlier, it was actually when they backed that horse in the 2-year-old race, won by the dead heating, Kindergarten Stakes. And that horse was well backed of Gary Moore's in that race, ran out of that race. And Horry said, he does a good job.
What was it? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Gary Moore does a good job.
Oh. So just because Robbie gives you the imprimatur, somehow it breaks a cycle of about a 5-year gap where the horse hasn't got to the bend of
Prior
his.
to that, 3
Just
days.
because Robbie says it. Is he that what happens in these 2 or 3 hours that he's working that we're all non-existent, that he sits into his time machine or something?
Maybe.
He's the best.
Yeah.
3 days later, I watched that takedown run a week earlier or whatever. I watched that takedown.
Run in the 3-year-old race.
Yeah, and I looked at it and I said, you might be the best horse in Australia.
Yeah, it was a mammoth run.
Because he parades so great, he's such a good style of horse. And I just thought, you might be the best horse in Australia. You're number 2 to Winks, but you know, and the minute I thought it, then obviously the Hawkesbury 3 winners. Well, obviously 3 losing races for G. Pollard. Extremely bad losing races. And after that, you go,
Well, I could accept the first 2, but then the last.
we're talking about peaks and troughs. The stables just have them. And usually with this smaller type of stable like Gary Moore, like we saw, was it 18 months ago or 12 months ago with David Payne? Click, click, click.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Off you pop again.
off you pop.
Off you pop.
Keep your eye on David Payne. Keep your eye on Gary Moore for maybe the next week or 2, but that's it.
Are we going to keep our eye on anything out of the Champagne?
No, I don't think. I think well played, Dominic and James and Glyn.
Group 1 Glenn.
He rides beautiful when he rides good.
Yeah.
Good Glenn is. Good Glenn's nearly the best I've ever seen.
Glenn's obviously replaced Jimmy then, hasn't he? Good and bad Glenn.
Yeah, he's there. He's our man now.
He's our man. Yeah, he's our man to keep an eye on for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he sits up high and he gets that tempo right.
That's sort of almost robotic flow. No, robotic's probably not doing it justice.
Still 20s on
Rhythmic
the fair on the
flow.
bend, but in your mind you think it's home.
Yeah.
No. It's that rhythmic flow going. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a real South African style.
Yeah, but it's effective, and that's why we labelled him 3 or 4 years ago as the best jockey in the world.
Longer ago actually.
Was it? Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah. You mentioned Dominic. Dominic's doing a lot of work with James Cummings, and James Cummings is just going great.
Well, it helps if someone's assisting you with.
He was on Retro yesterday, and I was looking at him. He's the mirror, but he's likeable. He's a likeable Tom Waterhouse.
Yeah. They're the same generation. No, actually, he's younger than Tom. Isn't he?
Yeah, younger, but he's the same sort of style.
Private school.
He puts all the names in to give everyone the rap they need, but he doesn't come across as a suck.
Yeah.
He's a likeable Tom. So Tom's bad Tom, and James is good Tom.
So Tom's your prodigy. You took Tom to his first.
Yeah, but Tom's a businessman there, you know.
You're just jealous of success.
Am I jealous of success? I'm not really. I don't think I'm ever jealous of success. I would never think that.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't think that's right. No, yeah, James is a likeable Tom.
Okay. Is it just because he didn't answer your phone that day in the restaurant and he brushed you when you rang him?
I don't dislike Tom at all. But I have no feelings towards him. I don't have any feelings to anybody. I don't have any feelings. It's like the only thing I feel bad about.
And only just.
What happened in the Champagne was they made the Fernhill Group 1 this year.
And I think it will go down that. I think that's the new modern
new
way.
trend for
the
the
Fernhill used to
Champagne.
be 20 years ago was a piece of shit leading to the
Well,
Champagne.
Bozan won the Fernhill. It was like a nursery for the Derby prospects for the next year.
I think it's a real nursery now because I think with the foreseeable 10 years we're going to have this Randwick track. It's always going to be wet over these dirty, filthy championships. It's always going to be moist.
Well, if it can't be dry this year, I don't know. If it can't be dry this year, it's got no hope of being dry.
Well, that's good. It's almost the best weather we can expect at this time of year.
Yes.
The 1600 metre run the week before is the right lead up.
Quite possibly.
You've got no idea how bad a horse paraded in that race called Obscura.
Oh, and raced and bet that way. Oh my God!
You've seen it. He looked like a little fat pig.
It was scouring in the race.
It looked like he put it in the stable from its last run and had never seen the track and he had his head in the bin. It was amazing. It was like, it was like a 5-to-1 chance that you honestly hard to like.
Well, we'll talk about before we get into the other stuff. We'll talk about.
So ready to go.
Are they?
Well, if anything, they're over the top.
Well, let's have a look. It wasn't a good day for the Blue Jackets. Obviously, Obscura. I mean, it was 50s at its previous start, wasn't it? So I mean, it wasn't.
That was longer than that.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't.
I took 25 to place. Remember?
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. And 25 to place. And what was it? It was 7-2 at some stage.
But there was a couple of runners
shorter.
here, like Pearls is coming off an $18 SP. I was thinking to mark the whole time. I've been doing a lot of work myself, and I found that it was so easy to price at 7-2. I could only be 5-2 or 7-2, and I thought, could I be 5? But I'd be 7-2, and there it was.
Yeah, it gets back to an old pearl, which is about horses can't justify a short SP in the upcoming race unless they're coming off a win at long trotts.
Yeah.
You know, and Pearls was coming off a determined run, a nice looking run, but as you say, there she was probably 3-1 at the top of the tree on that race.
Yeah. Before we go to the other ones, Yatana, I remember after its first run, 18 lengths. In the Widden behind that incomparable fireworks, starting 40s.
Lake Geneva was
I did say it was a horse to follow.
Did you really?
Yeah, now it's a black type winner. Now we've bagged all these black type fillies races, but I'm saying this is a strong Group 3, and you heard it here first.
Wow. I remember you did say that.
We were walking around. You know, just like your comment about, say you think, oh, that'll win the Cox Plate.
There it is.
Yeah,
so Yatana's won.
I was wrong about it. It won 2.
Well, Yatana's won 2 races, both one at 10 to one at Canterbury, a night meeting, and
now a black type Group 3 winner.
48 on the fair was Matt Lane.
And 40's in the ring to take at the end.
Wasn't it? No, I never saw that.
You know, I feel like Billy Murphy, Jeff Pendlebury, Mo Conlon.
That's 40s. That's your. You can get on to win 25,000 at that price range. Oh, 20,000.
But Yatana Glen. But after actually she paraded nicely that first start, she's always gets a bit hot and warm and fizzy in the yard, doesn't she? She's not a great parader.
Well, there were no chases in that race, and that's one of the advantages. If you've got a forward racing running style, you know that's half the battle, because nothing wanted to win behind her. That's for sure. Or nothing that was in a position to win could win.
No, who was the horse that? Yeah, no. Yeah, there it was.
Continuing on the Blue Jacket theme, Old North. One of the shortest, probably the shortest price favourite of the day, was it?
Sandra Lane actually started a nick shorter than it.
Did it? All right. Well, we'll just stay with Old North. He's Rocky for the second time in a row. Dwayne Dunner's got on the back of a favoured horse and rode. He's our Rocky professionally.
The only thing unusual about that horse was the 650. I found that really good.
Yeah, I thought it was clear 2 picks, but
but the thing about Old North is that things went his way last time, so it's not like he's got reserves of steel to repel a challenge. It's like there's a horse that wants to take you on. All I've got is a PR win.
Yep, you got a PR win.
I've got a PR win, so that's not going to be enough.
PR means coming off a perfect run.
Thank you, man.
I just expect to watch the show. So when you come off a perfect run,
it's not like you're invincible.
Well, you put it beautifully when you said something about the steel. What did you say?
You just didn't have the reserves of steel.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, have the Chinese.
You're there and you've been perfectly ridden and blah blah blah. But
yeah, I agree with you.
But if there's if there's a horse that wants to take you on,
the surprising thing about that race was that taking $5 at one stage, Asanara. What is Asanara?
A myth.
It's a myth.
Another Blue Jacket.
Bad Blue Jacket.
Yeah. What are you saying about he's our Rocky Glen? He just does everything right in the yard. He's a likeable type, isn't he?
Likeable type.
He's not. I don't think he's anything super special, but he's the way that he goes about his business is going to take him somewhere.
Well, the interesting thing about that race was the way the pecking order sorted themselves out. When you consider the way the horses finished in that race, it was indicative of a genuine race. There's He's Our Rocky beating Old North, beating Torgerson, beating Asanara, and then 5 1/4 lengths back to Hierarchical, blah, 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 blah.
I like the look of this Dwayne Dunn in the parade ring. I give it to all these Melbourne jockeys when they come here. I just want to give it to him every time. He gets on the horse. Looks like he's pretty fit. He's pretty old.
Yeah,
is he 40?
He'd have to be.
Well, if he's in his 30s, he looks fucking awful.
Dylan Dunn's his son.
So yeah, he's right.
He's 40.
Yeah.
But he looks fit. He puts on the horse. They leg him up.
Is he Pete Roble, is he?
He's Pete Roble. Exactly who he is. Yeah. Gets on the horse, sits in position. He doesn't go like, oh, yeehaw, I'm a superstar. I'm a cab driver. Pushing him along. Does a good job. He seems a pro. Obviously he's a real pro, but if I see D Dunn again on the horse in Sydney, I'll be getting 2 ticks because Righty can build with confidence.
The boys in Melbourne do say that he's much better coming from behind than in front.
Right. Oh, okay. So on pace,
a bit of an anchor drop. But then again, I have.
Okay, so he likes to tag.
But I've heard that Dean Lester makes a point, and it might be relevant for Tommy too, that a lot of the Team Hawks do apparently instruct those horses to be ridden with that anchor drop in front, and D Dunn.
Well, Messine didn't look to anchor drop.
No. Oh no, but I've just heard Dean Lester counter that argument by saying that as well too.
Right.
Still.
And speaking of the Blue Jackets, has Clippo left the stable? He rode out everywhere else on Saturday.
Don't know.
With success.
Don't know. But don't know. You could imagine a show having a stink with him, couldn't you?
I suppose John could have a stink with anyone. There's word that P. Moody may be coming out of retirement. A short retirement.
What do you mean retirement?
No, the male you hear is one of the free. Is it Anthony or even Lee? One of the Freedmans. That's
To do what?
To replace Rick.
Yeah.
To replace my Rick?
Yeah. There's already rumblings.
Is it really?
Oh, rumblings all over the shop.
You gotta love a rumble, don't you? Like,
yeah,
you gotta love
nothing better than a good rumour.
Can you two just go? One sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll continue on. Mark, I know you were happy with. Actually, we'll come back to the Blue Jackets when Glenn comes over the phone. We'll just digress and go to Music Magnate, a horse that has really developed nicely as a type, and Bjorn's setting it for the Stradbroke and did the job very well.
Well, when you consider how vulnerable that position in the run is, you know, I realised that Speak Fondly's balloon was there to be pricked, and he took the job on of pricking it. It was actually advisable for something to do that. So he's up there putting the acid on Speak Fondly, and he's trucking nicely when he disposes of her. But that early burn is going to come back to haunt you when you're trying to repel the bludgers.
Yeah.
And
you are first up in doing so.
Yeah, and there's the classic bludger in Neudart who's just loitering behind you, ready to just have a sneaky snipe at the finish, and that's what he did. And he did look actually to get there, but so Neudart appeared to win the race, but certainly Music Magnate deserved to win the race.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, but with the photo, and I know Glenn's got some different thoughts on it, and I know you said you thought he won the race, but I think on the line, I thought, watching it live it did, but when you watch the camera, I think it's because they're both blackish type horses, and it looks like sort of a bit of a parallax error that Music Magnate's nose is actually Neudart's nose, but you look at the camera and it's...
So the low angle showed Music Magnate winning the race, didn't it?
Yeah.
What we've canvassed this before, and I forget the reason why we can't do it. Why can we not get the photo up
in Sydney? I don't know. There was some excuse about.
The judge can take as long as he likes. That's fine.
Yeah.
But everyone would like to look at a photo straight
away. Yeah, exactly. Or even after the race as well too. But it doesn't. I don't know what the. I mean, I know it's
some reversal of procedure, wasn't there?
It's something to do with who provides what or whatever. But whoever provides it at Sydney, surely you can have some sort of digital link that puts up that photo. Well, you'd think, wouldn't you?
I recall more than 20 years ago at Gosford, they instituted a finish link system that had instant results.
Yeah.
And I don't know what became of that system, and I don't know whether it was adopted anywhere else, but it is galling to watch the Melbourne races from Sydney to see a photo go up as soon as they've crossed the line and have to endure what we endure in Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. What it is, especially when that Randwick angle like that with the rail position is always a little bit different as well too. We're just talking about the photo, Glenn.
It was excruciating, the photo.
Well, they had it did look like Neudart. Like, every time we've ever watched a race at Randwick, like the betting would be like.
Well, I think I claimed you for what was it?
I would have said the betting was 4-7 Neudart as they crossed the line.
Fucking hell, 4-7. I would have had 7,000 on with you. I would have said $1.01.
I think you offered me $1 million to 1, which I took, which
makes
our ledger
80 to 1 Music Magnate, didn't he take us? And then it just kept going. I said, oh, thank
all right, but when you saw the low angle slow-mo...
Yeah, well, that was different, but the low angle never counts.
Does it? It seemed to be the one that provided the result.
Anyway, too good, my fucking rugby fullback, there he was. But I still had a good result in Music Magnate. I tipped on top, I thought it looked outstanding, but Neudart was like my 5th number, was bouncing around the ring at 60 to 1, went bouncing around the parade ring, looked terrific. T. Clark got the job done.
So where to?
And not a back result, like not quite. It's just annoying.
Where are we going with Target Inside? Is he just?
Well, he's never.
He's just.
He's
finished.
He's a chaser, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, but he used to be like was it O'Shea who got him going, blousing, pre-blue collars?
Yeah.
Like Britton Cole at Randwick 1200 and just joining in.
Yeah.
And then Joey got him to do that in the deep field race, like no trouble at all. That's his last win, first up a year ago. And he comes back this time and he's sort of being ridden midfield.
Yeah, he's sort of parading like that too, isn't he, Glenn? He used to just come out, you just tick your book, you know he's going to be perfect, you almost don't need to look at him. But now he's not parading poorly, but he's just not parading brilliantly.
Getting older.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the thing, your time has come and gone.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you not say that, Mark?
But some of us will just still hang in there and keep battling.
I just want to thank the 3 brickies who got in contact with me last week.
Oh, speaking of that,
Yes, what now?
there's been an offer for you not to be a bricklayer, but to be a bloodstock agent.
I heard about that, yeah, but I thought, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, you will be.
Well, I'm exhausted from the forest work. You two are fucking idiots.
But there will be news in the next couple of weeks that you'll become a bloodstock agent.
We haven't even spoken about the centrepiece of the day, which is the all-age stakes, which was actually a cracking race.
I thought you guys were talking about it.
No. You're only
We're talking about the fact that they can't put a photo straight up in Sydney, whereas they can in Melbourne from Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, is that what you were talking about with the Noi Dam photo?
Yeah.
Hey, why doesn't it go up the photo?
We don't know.
Well, we did know. I remember there was an explanation.
Well, it's whatever the explanation is. It's got to be hollow explanation.
Yeah. I mean, that's surely an easy fix. That's a little bit of nice footwork from an administrator to say, boys, we fixed this. You know, because there's nothing better than the advertising that you fix something. Surely that's a feather in your cap.
Well,
I've got the laptops on course.
That's our main feather. I was just going to say it. People say, oh, Puntershow, yeah, we got my laptops on course, mate.
And everyone takes it for granted after that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
There I was.
Okay, so the all-age stakes. We'll start with the tempo of it, and a couple of interesting plays here from Blake Shin on Malaguera, and also Hugh on press statement. Ian makes the point here. I'll just read this email, Mark. Chris Moller, which is part of an email he has later. Chris Moller said about 5 minutes before the all-age in an interview with Sky that press statement was going to lead. Bowman decided to stay 4 deep instead of pushing on. Horse was coming back from a mile and 1,500 metre run. Why not put them to the sword? Your thoughts?
Oh, because clearly he couldn't lead Perignon or Goldstream, who was first up from the Northern Hemisphere for a year. Yeah, good job, Huey. I mean, it was one of those. It was like his ride on the red and black last week in the 2-year-old race in the sires.
Yes.
Good standing.
Good
that
standing.
one.
That's right.
Yeah, it's sort of like, Huey, you look so good sometimes, and then you look so non-compass mentis.
And that's
sometimes.
why I blew up last week about that I've been on the ones that he's been non-compass mentis, and then the ones that he's not, he's normally stripping him. The frustration.
So he just sits there on a limb on press statement. That's not a clever thing to do.
No. Yeah. No. Maybe if you were sitting there and because you, rather than put him to the sword because you're going to get in, but he was never going to get in. He was only going to be in the worst spot. A bad spot.
I know, so
his options.
So
push on. But this is what Ian is saying. Chris Waller in an interview before the race said the intention was to lead.
Sorry, was that a steward's announcement?
No, I don't know if it was a steward's announcement, but that sort of information is not privy to us on course.
Well, it is on Twitter. I mean, it should be.
You look that, but anyway, if Chris has said that 5 minutes before the race, there's no tempo in the race. You think if you've heard that listening at home, you think your press statement's going to go to the lead, don't you? And then
especially in that race.
And what Blake was doing on Malaguera, handing up so easily.
Well, I'm going to hand up to 100 to 1 chance, and I'm going to sit behind you now, and then when all these other horses got the fly on me, then I'll try and work out how to get out.
I think even Blake would admit he went missing a bit that time.
Blake, and I think stewards asked Blake about that afterwards, and he said, Lee Freeman said the tactics were to lead, and he decided not to, and he did put his hand up to say it wasn't one of his better performances.
Yeah, well, it's possibly problematic that our new betting steward and Lee Freeman have a less than kind relationship.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the trouble when you're a troll in your other life. You have put some people offside.
Feel like me being
he happily admits it, and a fair play to him. I really like the guy, but he's clearly MP.
Yeah.
He's clearly got a few relationships that are a bit problematic.
It's like me working in the tab 2 years from now. So yes, we need every bit of you, except do you remember what you said back then?
Oh, all right. English. She just got the fly on him, as you said, Mark, and she
got the PR.
Well written by Sam Clipperton.
She probably had the right lead up. The TJ Smith is a good lead up into the all-age stakes. I mean, I'm never comfortable backing horses out of fast run races into slow run races, but unfortunately, the Doncaster is quite a good feed to Queen Elizabeth, and the TJ Smith is quite a good feed to the all-age stakes.
Yeah. But when you say the slowly run race into that, though, I mean, with that sort of style that she is, but being able to go slow and sprint, that's probably the right shape for her, isn't it?
Yeah,
probably is the right shape.
Yeah. No, she was going to be dangerous.
Race is very easy today.
Yeah, yeah.
Kermadec to be ridden back today. That was the only change of tactics. There was no change of tactics on press day.
Well, he did say. I mean, if I'm no reason to doubt Ian's thing, but if he said it on Sky's 5 minutes beforehand, that's
Well, I suppose he's saying it was in the first 4 in the rider, so it's entitled to be up there in a slow pace all aged.
The big riding move of the day. Nathan Thomas off Mighty Lucky. We've been saying it for forever.
Nathan Thomas off to Kathy to Chris O'Brien. It's like positive. It's mad, isn't it? Have you ever heard of that?
What's the best I've ever seen? It's like triple positive. And you get to see O'Brien.
Your man.
Who I must say, I'm beyond thankful in the previous race. Like he just flew at the line. He just threw his horse at the line.
Well, I remember 5 years ago on the show you were rapping Chris O'Brien.
Yeah.
But in the marketplace these days, people just go, "Puh."
Well, he's sort of intermittent. He does, he doesn't ride that often. He gets weight problems. He has issues.
I just feel if you've got a
he
skill,
gets stuck on the train sometimes.
Yeah, he catches a train to the...
He's ridden Beyond Lucky at 80s and Mighty Lucky at 40s. Beyond Lucky's got beaten from here to there, and he's got Mighty Lucky home. He doesn't sound that bad a rider.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. On a day for the battlers. See, he turned up on the right day.
Yeah. It was so funny when he was riding back to scale and Bernadette Cooper went over to him and she could hardly get his name out. Who the hell is this? It's pretty funny actually.
That is pretty funny. So, what have we got to say about Nancy? Is that the end of Nancy for all time?
No, she'll start 6 to 4. She'll start 6 to 4 next start.
Paraded, I mean, averagely.
Yeah.
She is, I will say, she is by Big Brown.
You love that, Big Brown.
Who was the previous
Go
one?
and have a look at the, who's the previous what? Big Brown?
No. Who's the other one that you had? Just
Flying Spur
Flying
and
Spur.
God's Own.
God's Own.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that the end of part 1, boys? Or we just,
We just hadn't spoken about Gardini, and that was the other one.
Who
with
was, there was Hugh in a limb, but he was lucky that, wasn't that lucky, but Shin came out and gave him a bit of cover for the final turn. But there's a horse that just he monstered that field, didn't he?
He monstered it.
Yeah.
He shut up and cooler out.
It's been surprising how much some of this Melbourne form's really held up, and
particular Melbourne form.
yeah.
We'll discuss. There's an email about that later on. But it was 3 wide throughout, as you said, not great in the yard and erratic down the straight, and did put him to the sword. And as you mentioned, Hugh was wide, but he said he did keep probably his number 1 competitor in Jones and Donald around the bend. And
and also he was wide, but he held up for ages. He wasn't wide working forward towards the bend. He was just sitting there, and then Saddler's 8 came out in front of him. He went, "Oh, beautiful! I'll just sit here."
And then they enabled him to keep it in for another. Was Havana called a star favourite? Yes, another beaten favourite from the blue colours.
All right, Mark, that can be part 1.
Thanks, Dale.